Hello, hello, and welcome to the video. It is fertilizing time again, and that might be interesting for a couple of reasons. One, I fertilize a little differently. I use marine aquarium salt instead of, commercial fertilizers that are designed for plants and or orchids. I find it works just as well, if not better. And I can use it with my fish. So there's another reason I like to do it this way, because my fish, well, not the fish themselves, but the tank waters everybody. Orchids, purple passion, those things over there, whatever those are, everything gets watered with my plant water. But I don't want to put commercial plant food in there because I got fish. Now there are fish plant fertilizers, but I don't know. I've actually never used them. So I'll just stick with what I know. It seems to work, so I'll stick with it. But this one's going to be a little different. Normally, I would take my fourth of a tablespoon, I think it's a teaspoon, fourth of a teaspoon. The salt is white, so it's kind of hard to see. But I'll take that, and I just plop it into the aquarium. Well, not with fish. The fish might try to eat the salt granules, and that would be an awful lot of salt in their little mouths. So I'll do it slightly differently this time. I got my mug here, and I will take it and put some water into it. Staying on camera, am I? Probably not. Okay, so I got my mug of water, and if I can pick this up without spilling everything everywhere, I will put the salt into that and dissolve it before I dump it into the aquarium. So let's do that right quick. There we go. The salt is in. Of course, I got nothing to stir it with. I don't want to stir it with the measuring thing because, well, that needs to go back into the salt bucket, and I don't want to put that away wet. So I'll use this bit of Lucky Bamboo that I've got drying here. Okay, we'll give it a stir. Stir it up, get it to dissolve. We'll stir it and stir it and stir it. I don't want the fish attacking the granules. And it doesn't matter how strong it is in the cup, because though I do want to check it with the TDS meter at some point, my Hannah, no, not a person, it is a person's name, but in this case it's comes from Hannah Instruments. It's got my pH on it, along with temperature and a couple other things. TDS, both in TDS form and micro Siemens. It does a couple of things. But its probe wants to be replaced. Or at least the Hannah says that it wants its probe to be replaced. So I can't really use it right now until I get the bolt or probe replaced. But that's okay because, well, quite frankly, I've been doing this for quite a while without one, and I'm not too worried about it. A lot of water gets taken out because, I water that plant with it and that plant with it and the plant down on the floor, which you can see its leaves up here, that plant with it. Over yonder is the aloe vera. I water that. So a lot of water goes into the aquarium and then it comes out and waters plants. And then some evaporates out. So we got all these things going on. And yeah, it gets a gallon of water every 2 or 3 days. So it's being replenished. The salt doesn't evaporate out. We talked about that in the video about how much nutrients can evaporate out. Very little. But I do take water out as well. And then the plants use what they use. The Lucky Bamboo is in it all the time. I've got this fowl up here I've put in full water culture. There's its root down into the water. I put these others in occasionally so it can suck up a little more water. But yeah, I'm trying the full water culture with one root. I actually switched which root it was. It was originally going to be this root, but this root has a crack right here where my fingers are, and the water wasn't passing that crack. But when I put this other root down into the water, it went further in relation to where it would have stopped. It went a little further up. It's not, the whole root isn't green, but it's green further up. So that is going to be, the other one's going to go in and out with the last one, but that one is going to be the new full water culture root. And then this one that the other one's laying on, we're going to see if that will grow down into the water and do that experiment. But right now, this is a fertilizing video, and I think I've got, I was just stirring it off camera again, but I think I've got that pretty well dissolved. Now down in the bottom, if you can see, yes you can, that is not the salt. That is from when I put the gravel in. That's the remains of the gravel that stuck to the sides. I didn't think about rinsing it all out until I'd already started. But all the salt, I believe, is dissolved. And if it's not, well, once won't hurt anything. So, I'm going to go ahead and dump this in now. And the plants will have their fertilizer for the month. Here we go. Just kind of taking it back and forth so that it can be mixed. And so that I don't have to remember next time, I'm going to go ahead and rinse the glass. It'll help stir up the salt too. There we go. The fish are all stressing out down there at the bottom. Well, that's life. I'm going to be in the tank from time to time. They'll just have to live with it. Where's my little... I don't think it came back in here. Anyway, so that is how I add the salt to the aquarium now that the fishies are back. I don't like fishes, but fish. They're back, so now I've got to think about them when I fertilize. So, there we go. That is how I add my marine aquarium salt. Both for the fish, it has benefits for the fish, I do believe. Most fish keepers will probably tell you with freshwater fish, you can probably just use regular aquarium salt, get all these benefits, and a bit more of it at that. But, yeah, the other day, or last night I should say, when I put the new fish in, they were all quite pale. One was incredibly pale. It looked a little albino-ish. It was so pale. But even that one is comparable to the original 4 now. And I noticed that when I woke up. So just being in here overnight, they colored up. Now that's not to necessarily say I'm an amazing fish keeper, which, not to toot my own horn, but I am an amazing fish keeper. But they had taken, like, a ride from Eugene to get here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say that, I'm more than 2 hours from Eugene, so it's a drive. They had to sit in a bag and ride from Eugene all the way back here, back into the county in the town that I live in, which I'm not going to put on video. I don't want the circle to be that small of where I live. More than 2 hours from Eugene, that's what you're going to get, and you're going to have to be content with that, because I'm not willing to make my circle any smaller than that. So yeah, they had quite a ride, and they were quite pale, paler than they were in the store. So they had paled out because of the stress of the ride home. But overnight, they hadn't even eaten. They just sat in the tank overnight, calmed down, got most of their color back, and they might still be darkening up a little bit, but they'll get there. So like I say, I don't think it has as much to do with my fish keeping skills, although, that does deserve its own credit. But maybe 30% my fish keeping skills for getting them back to color so fast. But the rest of it is the stress of the ride. And then a nice quiet night to settle down, get some color back, get most of their color back. And over the next couple of days, I suspect they'll brighten up to full color. Which, I'm not sure you can really tell the difference anymore between the old fish and the new fish. They're all bright enough to be considered healthy and not stressed. But they were certainly stressed with the ride back from Eugene. So, they're brighter now. I suspect they'll be a little bit brighter in a day or two. But that's what I've got for today. How I add the salt when there's fish in the aquarium. And small, potentially vulnerable fish at that. Okay. Talk to you next time.